The billionaire, a man accustomed to control and precision in every corner of his life, decided to return home earlier than usual one evening. What should have been a quiet, ordinary night quickly spiraled into chaos the moment he stepped through the door. At first, everything seemed normal. The soft hum of the air conditioning, the faint scent of dinner lingering in the kitchen. But then, a subtle detail caught his eye. Something was unmistakably wrong. As he moved deeper into his home, the shocking truth began to reveal itself. What he discovered was not just surprising, it was unimaginable, a secret that no one could have predicted. It wasn't just a betrayal of trust, but a fracture that threatened to upend everything he had built over decades. Every room, every familiar object now carried a new terrifying weight. The life he thought he knew, the wealth, the power, the security, suddenly felt fragile, almost meaningless in the face of this revelation. The emotional impact was immediate and overwhelming. Anger, disbelief, and fear collided within him, making it nearly impossible to process. But beyond the initial shock, a deeper understanding began to emerge. This secret exposed vulnerabilities he had never considered, forcing him to confront the limits of his control and the true nature of the people around him. It was a moment that demanded decisions, hard, irreversible choices that would redefine his relationships, his reputation, and the very path of his life. In that one evening, everything changed. What began as an ordinary night became a turning point, a powerful reminder that no amount of money or influence can shield anyone from the unexpected truths life can suddenly reveal. The billionaire was no longer just a man of wealth. He was a man forced to face reality in its rawest, most unthinkable form. The unthinkable discovery didn't just shock the billionaire, it shook the very foundation of his life. At first glance, the threat seemed abstract, almost distant, but as the reality sank in, he realized it reached far beyond mere financial loss. His immense wealth, once a fortress of power and security, now felt vulnerable, exposed to consequences he had never imagined. But the true danger was more personal, more intimate. His reputation, carefully built over decades, hung by a fragile thread. Every decision, every public image he had cultivated now risked being tarnished. The whispers of scandal and betrayal threatened to ripple through his social and professional circles, eroding the influence he had taken years to achieve. Yet, even more painful than the potential damage to his status was the blow to his relationships. Friends, family, and trusted allies, those he had relied upon implicitly, were suddenly colored by doubt. He began to question loyalties he had never questioned before, realizing that trust, once broken or shaken, is incredibly difficult to restore. The emotional weight of this revelation was suffocating. The billionaire, used to commanding outcomes and orchestrating events, found himself powerless in the face of human unpredictability and deception. Every familiar interaction, every seemingly small gesture, now carried a hidden uncertainty. The discovery forced him to navigate a maze of suspicion, fear, and heartbreak, confronting truths that had been carefully hidden, and realizing that the people he thought he knew best might have secrets of their own. Ultimately, the crisis demanded more than quick decisions. It demanded reflection, resilience, and a reckoning with reality. Wealth could not shield him from betrayal. Influence could not undo broken trust. The unthinkable discovery became a mirror, forcing him to face vulnerabilities he had long ignored and to redefine the very meaning of security, loyalty, and human connection in a world where nothing could be taken for granted. The incident was more than a shocking event. It became a turning point that forced the billionaire to confront truths he had long avoided or never imagined. The world he had carefully constructed, one of control, precision, and influence, suddenly seemed fragile and unpredictable. In the aftermath, every assumption he had made about people, loyalty, and power was called into question. The people he trusted implicitly, the ones he thought would never betray him, were now viewed through a lens of uncertainty. Every relationship, every alliance was suddenly fragile, demanding scrutiny and careful navigation. This revelation ignited a dramatic shift in how he made decisions. No longer could he operate purely on instinct or habit. Every choice now carried weight, informed by the awareness that appearances can be deceiving and that true intentions often hide beneath layers of facade. The billionaire found himself reassessing priorities he had taken for granted. Wealth, influence, and status, once at the center of his life, began to feel secondary to understanding who he could truly rely on and what mattered most in his personal world. Emotionally, the impact was profound. The shock, anger, and betrayal he initially felt gradually gave way to clarity, forcing him to confront not only the actions of others but also his own judgments and blind spots. The incident became a mirror, reflecting uncomfortable truths about human nature, vulnerability,